In the 2002 Mega Ball Weber Cup, the Americans are starting to pull away from their European rivals. The score now stands at 14-10 after a near-perfect game from captain Tim Mack and an equally good display from Tony Manna Jr. The USA are now just 4 points away from victory. Next up is another Baker game, and this team format has been a nightmare for the Europeans. In 4 attempts, they've yet to win. But Europe have been stung into action in this opening Baker on day 3. They've matched the USA strike for strike. We join the match in the 6th frame with nothing separating these two sides.
Well, in this battle of the shootout at the Ponds Forge Leisure Centre, who's going to get the jump first? Who's going to blink? Who's going to miss?
And whoever it is, that miss could be very costly, and it's not going to be Mike Mullen. 2 frames, 2 strikes. Well done, Mike. Keeps the string going. 6 strikes in a row for Team USA.
Yeah, it's terrific, flawless stuff. Well, the good news is the Europeans have finally got it together as a team, and the bad news is the Americans have just ratcheted it up to another notch again.
I think, as we mentioned, Nick, the first guy that doesn't strike could actually lose the game, which is quite frightening. But this is the format that Baker is.
No, he was right on the head pin.
That was a little bit lazy shot, that a bit soft on speed. His shoulder came round and he was inside his mark, and it really didn't give the ball a chance at all. Yeah, it's inside, and the speed's a bit soft, and it's high through the head pin. It's left the 2-4-7 spare, which, as we've seen before, is not the easiest in the world.
No, it's not. Didn't have the greatest first frame either. Got the strike, but he managed to get that one. Does. So he gets the spare. But Team Europe have just slipped behind, and I wonder if that's broken the spell. Because very often we see all these guys will inspire each other, but now that one's left a spare, maybe that's going to break the spell a little bit, although you wouldn't think so with Dino Castillo coming up.
Well, there's no reason why Team USA shouldn't continue. They all seem pretty lined up with their first shots, and there's no reason why they couldn't do it again. It will be very interesting to see.
This is the ball that Castillo switched to in the latter stages of his last singles game, and he did find the strike zone consistently with it, and he's found it in this Baker as well, and we might be seeing a lot more of that ball in the hands of Dino Castillo in the singles competition.
But of course, unless some of the Team Europe guys actually go and steal it and hide it, so he can't use it again. But it's a very happy strategy. It's a very happy camp over there at the moment in the USA side. And this is a fabulous shot right into the 1-3 pocket, and have some of that, and I'm the king. He likes himself.
Well, Torgerson's got to find a strike. They're not out of this by any means, Europe, but they need the Americans to give them a break, and they've just got to keep striking themselves like that.
Yeah, back on the strike line with Corey Torgerson. Pretty cool customer under pressure. He's rolled 2 strikes in his 2 frames, and there we see the difference.
It's amazing, they're still on pace for 277, and they find themselves all that way behind. Incredible bowling.
They could actually strike out and still lose the game.
Hoffman had a slightly fortuitous strike first time up.
Yeah, he may make a slight adjustment now, but
and this time it wasn't that bad a shot, but the 10 stood up.
Yeah, he actually went a little bit wider than the other right-handed players. He threw the ball out, which, although it came back, the acute angle that it came back prevented that 10 pin from being knocked over. It actually jumped the 6 pin right round it, and that's why it stood. So he's now going to have to straighten out this spare shot and hopefully take the 10 pin away.
Yeah, absolutely flush. But I guess because Hoffman took 9 pins and Verbruggen took 7, that still gives the Americans a bit of an edge here.
Yeah, that's right, and also the Americans have strung 7 strikes in a row, and if you can string them together, you're going to score more. It's the count back on the strikes.
Here's Phil. with his family watching, with his teammates watching.
Struck last time.
Yeah, struck on from the big man. There's Karina with little Ella. Yes, Ella, you've got to fly the flag when Daddy gets a strike.
She's having a little sleep, I think. What a fantastic shot this is from Phil Scammell, the Englishman. Loads of rotation. And rips that rack.
Well, for the first time, it's a must-strike situation, really, for the Americans.
Well, we're pretty... I think it's about 2 pins in it at the moment. And it's foundation frame, number 9.
And Manna, keep American noses in front. There's the answer. And with Mack to come, that might be the strike that wins this Baker for Team USA.
Yeah, you're quite right, Nick. That's the foundation frame, and a strike there will give Tim Mack the opportunity to make 60 pins with these last 3 shots, working on Tony's strike. Fantastic ball, absolutely marvellous. Great bowling.
Well, Lasse Lintila has got to do his bit just to keep the Europeans tucked into the slipstream, make Mack strike out.
Well, if you put your money on anybody, it would be Lasse Lintila.
Tim Mack says this guy's technique is as good as anybody's in this group of 10 players.
These are probably the best 10 amateur bowlers in the world, and unfortunately that's going to lose the game, because that will be an open frame, I predict. Yeah, he's just gone a little bit long with a shot. It's left him a split. He only just clipped the head pin, unfortunately. Yeah, there it is. It's the 2-4 and the 10 pin. It's makeable, but a 7 spare is not what Team Europe needed now.
He's going to try and just chip that 2 pin over to take out the 10, and that's asking a lot. Didn't quite come off.
No, and unfortunately that's an open frame, and guess what, Nick?
Tim Mack will jump all over it.
Well, I think Team Europe have said goodnight.
I think for next year's Weber Cup, Thomas Lee Anderson and his troops might argue that we just stick to singles and doubles and forget this Baker format. It's been a nightmare for them, hasn't it? It looks like 5 consecutive defeats. And if there's one man you would bank on to just seal the victory for the Americans, it's their skipper.
Well, he only needs a spare here, and the strike guarantees the win.
And there it is, and there was a sense of inevitability about that.
And he knows it. Great shot. Another point for the Americans, and now this is just going through routine now. The game's won. Give him a chance to showboat 2 more shots for the spectators here. And this could be a rather large, high-scoring Baker game. If he strikes out, it's 279. Yeah, now this lane's getting a bit easy for Tim Mack, because he threw that ball wider than he wanted, and he thought it might not come back, but he let out a shrill and the ball came roaring back. So this lane has given him quite a wide strike area, and now he's going to utilise it.
And the heads have literally dropped on the Team Europe side.
Well, 5 Baker games and 5 defeats. Perhaps you and I will get a game in the Team Europe side next year.
Tim Mack just to seal the thing. That's ironic. So Tim climbs off his knees, but job done once again. 278.
That is a fantastic Baker team performance. 278 from Team USA.
Well, the only thing that you can really say for Team Europe is at least they've been getting better from those 2 in the 170s to a 192 to a 222. They didn't bowl badly here at all until Lassie left that open frame in the 9th. But once again, Thomas Lee Anderson just bowling for fun now.
Yeah, they've rolled 7 strikes, which is good, but the open frame was the absolute killer. And Thomas again in that zone that right-handers have got. And it's come back and left him a 10 pin, which is ironic. Spare and strike for 232. The highest score that the Europeans have bowled in the Baker format, but it's still not a winner. Yeah, this is America really stepping up. And
Good job it didn't matter, eh?
yeah, I'm glad we didn't talk about that one too much. A no miss.
Well, once again, the Baker has done for Team Europe. Another terrific performance from the Americans. 2-7-8, 2-2-1 at the final score. A clenched fist celebration from Tim Mack. And really, these Bakers have been the difference between these two sets of fine bowlers in the overall scheme of things. Now, it is a 5-point advantage for Team USA. They lead 15-10, just 3 more points needed, and they will have successfully retained the Weber Cup.